Hey, it's Steve Carter, your Las Vegas realtor, and today's a beautiful day in Las Vegas, and I just couldn't let it go to waste, so I'm here on my motorcycle, and I just wanted to cruise around some of my favorite areas in Summerlin, and I figured it'd be a great time to show you a video, see why Summerlin is such, in demand, why it's like the #1 place in Las Vegas to live, why I get asked all the time from all my clients. And the best way to do it, I figured, was this way. So let's go on a ride together. I'm not going to be chiming in the entire time, but I will be kind of giving you my 2 cents on some of the areas, some of the cool things they have, maybe some parks, just all that stuff. Like, for example, we're riding right alongside Tournament Players Club, which is one of the largest golf courses here in Las Vegas. So I'm just west of the Sun Coast, if you're familiar with that, off of Canyon Run, heading west towards Summerlin Hospital. It's actually only, get rid of that. Now, one of the cool things about Summerlin, at least I think it's cool, is they're definitely going for more of a visual aesthetic. And so right now you're seeing a roundabout. They're not really prevalent in Las Vegas, but in Summerlin they're pretty common. They try to stay away from traffic lights, just to kind of keep it nice and clear, clean. They also did the same thing with cell towers, which I think worked in the opposite direction for what they were trying to intend. We're right next to Summerlin Hospital, by the way, off to my right. Hopefully I don't end up there on this video. No, I'm just joking. I'm recording this audio post anyway, so I made it through, guys, if you were wondering. But what I was saying about the cell towers is that Summerlin is kind of notorious for having shitty cell service. I don't know what it is. I think they removed some cell towers at one point, or they just opposed them being put in. Something like that. So you're not going to have the best service at your nearest park or kids' elementary school or just walking around. So definitely stay home or close by if you need to do something really important with your phone, or get a booster. But I think in the near future they are anticipating to put in some cell towers, which should definitely help out with that problem a lot. So right now we're going to be cruising around and going up some of my favorite areas, which are definitely like the Vistas and Paseos. I wanted to show you a new area of town called Red Point. It's one of the newest areas in Summerlin they're currently building. And also Stonebridge. Stonebridge is one of the newer communities as well. It's probably 80% done. So when we get there, I'll talk to you a little bit more about it. But we're just kind of cruising around. Ooh, like that old Chevy, that's nice. Just kind of cruising around, making our way. You're seeing all the cool autumn leaves, and let's just enjoy the ride. Now, there's apartments to my right, and I just want to point that out, that you don't have to buy a house to live here in Summerlin. They do have apartments, condos, townhouses. There are some, I don't think there's any duplexes, but and then of course, single family homes in a myriad of price ranges. So now we're going to switch over here to the street Alta, if you're looking on your map, heading west. So this is the Arbors. This community right here was probably started in the late 90s, very early 2000s. Love that silhouette view of those mountains over there. And one thing you're going to notice that's just very common throughout all of Summerlin is, of course, all the greenery. It's like you just have a very manicured community. It is a master plan community, but just when you look at the sidewalks in my community, I don't live here. I don't live in Summerlin. I live in Spring Valley. It's a lot less expensive, but it doesn't look like this, like, at all. So I'm always very envious of this community, very envious of the roads. That's why I ride here a lot. I do live fairly close, but if you look at the sidewalks, you see how it's not directly next to the street. You have a lot of greenery, and it's just really pretty and very pleasant place to be. Now we're crossing over the 215 freeway and heading into the Vistas right now. The Vistas, did you just notice that change from green to that desert landscaping that's on the other side? It's pretty awesome. The Vistas and Paseos are some of my favorites. because of that. They're just so green. And then to our left, we do have Vistas Park. This is one of a few parks that are here in the Vistas. They actually have a community pool. So if you're a resident of Summerlin, and the standard fee for the HOA, the Homeowners Association, is only like $46 a month, which is very inexpensive, I think. You do get access to all of the Summerlin community pools, which there's a handful of them. There's one right here in the Vistas. There's one fairly close in the Willows. I think there's one in the Mesas as well, more in the southwest part of town. Also, in the Vistas and a lot of the other communities we were just driving through, they're going to have guard-gated communities, gated communities, and of course, just open. So if you're going to be in one of the guard-gated or gated communities as opposed to the open ones, then you might have an extra cost, another fee besides the $46, just to kind of cover those costs. Maybe it's a sub-association. Doing individual tours on the actual villages. That's what they call them. They call them villages in Summerlin. What's up, V-Rod? So they're villages. That's basically just like little tiny communities inside Summerlin. Some of them are larger than others. Some of the ones, I don't know if you've heard of them. You've got Willows, Gardens, Paseos, Vistas, Stonebridge, Mesas, Cliffs, Arbors, Pueblos. It goes on and on. So we'll kind of do a detailed video eventually of all of them, so you can kind of see a feel for what the actual communities look like, driving all the neighborhoods, just give you a little more street view, what you can expect. Look how far back those homes are on the right. So even though you have the sidewalk there, they're still back another 10 feet, and they're elevated. So a lot of these homes, and if you can't tell, I'm heading uphill. So we're out of like the bowl of Las Vegas, headed west. And it's definitely a lot more elevated than it is down in the center of Las Vegas. It's also a little cooler. I don't know if that's just because of the trees. And then a lot of these home sites have some amazing views. Now here we are into the Paseos. The Paseos is a fairly large area in Summerlin. Big fan. They do mix a little bit of the desert landscaping right here compared to the Vistas. But they have some really cool parks within the community, including Paseos Park, also Fox Hill Park. There's also a very awesome public school, an elementary school called Visiliatis, which is right up ahead. We'll see in a few moments. My son actually goes here. Great area. Now these two communities right here are actually gated, not guard gated, but there's a handful that kind of look like that. And you have a mix of single-story and two-story homes. There's also directly across from Fox Hill Park, which we're going to see, which is one of our favorite parks to go to as a family. They've got some really cool, nice townhomes. They have some really good views. I think it's definitely debatable for one of the best views of the city, just because you're so elevated, as you'll see in a few moments. Some of the homes in Paseos can get fairly large, and you will of course find 1,800 square foot homes, and of course in the townhomes as well. And then some of the larger homes are going to be pushing that 4,000 square foot mark. So here, another roundabout. And then to our left are the townhomes I was talking about, and to the right is Fox Hill Park. It's kind of a more adventure style park. They've got really large climbing, jungle gym style things for the kids, which is awesome. They've got a couple zip lines. I've actually got a video about it. I'll try to link to, just so you can see it if you are interested in the actual parks. And then this is Visiliatis. It's the elementary school. It is a public school too. Now there's also some private schools that are going to be thrown in here in Summerlin. I'll definitely let you know about those as well. The main one is Dorel Academy. Okay, so let's do some stats. I did pull up a search on the MLS to kind of see what we are working with here in Paseos. And as of right now, there are 24 listings. 2 of them are condos. The rest are single-family homes. The condos run from $405,000 to $440,000, and they're 1,300 and 1,500 square feet, both 2-bedroom, 2-bath. Now, the rest of the homes, there's a pretty big gamut. The smallest single-family home and least expensive is 1,740 square feet, and that is listed right now at $465,000. And then the most expensive is the complete opposite end of the gamut. It is almost $2.3 million at 3,500 square feet. So there's a little bit of everything. I think it's awesome that you can still get something in Paseos in this awesome area for under $500,000 for a single family home. Okay, now as soon as we cross the street, we will be leaving Paseos. Don't worry, we'll be back. So we'll be going into the newest community in Summerlin called Red Point. Very, very new community. You're going to see a ton of construction, a ton of dirt. There are a few communities they've started to build. They have a couple models. There's a myriad of builders that are over here. You have Lennar, you have Toll Brothers, you have TriPoint, which was Party at one point. So you have a lot over here. So they have, communities that are only single story. They have communities that are only 2-story. They have a mix. Yeah, it's really cool. They're being more water conscious in all of the new Summerlin communities, so it's not going to be as green, but honestly, what they can do with a lot of the desert landscaping these days is really cool. We're in a desert. We can embrace that desert lifestyle a little bit. Yeah, this in 2 years, this place is going to look so different because it will be so much more built. It's crazy. This already went up so fast, it's nuts. They also put in a new police station, I believe a new fire station as well. If the fire station's not here, it's really freaking close, but I know 100% there's a new police station right over here. What you see in some of the newer Summerlin communities like Red Point, Stonebridge, which we'll go to in a little bit, and then the ones in the southwest, like the Cliffs and Mesas, they kind of tend to have a little bit more modern aesthetic to it, even from just like cleaner lines, paint schemes, and colors. It just, for me, I lean that way. I really enjoy that style. So the newer communities definitely have that in Summerlin. Hit a dead end, so we're gonna wind back around a little bit. See some more construction. This GoPro is not doing it justice. The city views you get from up here are really awesome. As we get up here towards the top, it's about as far west as you can really build in Las Vegas. You're going to just see a lot of nature, a lot of really cool stuff. There's an area really west of here, but still at the base of these mountains. You're not in Red Rock, but they call it Little Red Rock. You could hike over there. I remember doing a lot of fun stuff in high school over there, off-roading, bonfires, when none of this was around. So it's just a really unique area. You have tons of Joshua trees, there's wildlife, there's mountain biking. A lot of people that live over here in Summerlin, they're doing it because it's definitely more of an active community. You have all the walking paths, you have cycling paths, you have access, really quick access to a Red Rock conservation area where you can go ride the loop with your bike or go hike it, go run it. Also, there's tons of hiking and climbing trails. I say climbing trails. There's lots of hiking trails and tons of climbing you can do, lots of bouldering. It's actually like a big destination for climbers all over the U.S. So anyways, it's just a spot where you're really close. So if like your passion is climbing or your passion is cycling and you happen to live in Las Vegas, most likely you'll find yourself kind of on the west side. If you're doing it every day, you might want to be a little closer to it. It might be worth it to spend a little more dollars per square foot to live in a location that's more convenient or more assimilating to your lifestyle. And this is all going to be built out not too long. It's so crazy. So when you're looking at buying in Las Vegas, like as far as what I do, most of my clients end up being relocation clients. They're moving here from out of state, and so I try to have a good conversation with you first and just try to see what you're into, what your motive is for moving to Las Vegas. Because if I did find out that you were like, you know, an avid cyclist, I would definitely try to sway you a little bit more towards this area, or maybe help you achieve those goals of going climbing every weekend without having to be like, do I want to drive an extra 40 miles because I'm on the east side near Lake Las Vegas, but I need to be near Red Rock. So, and it just depends. And the answer is not always Summerlin. Summerlin is a very good answer for most of the areas, but it's not always the answer. You know, a lot of times the answer is the Northwest, or it's the north part of town, or it's you want to have lake views on a real lake, then Lake Las Vegas on the east side is your jam. Henderson's fantastic too, and we'll be doing these driving tours throughout all of Las Vegas so you can really get an idea of what this place looks like. So now we're going to be creeping into one of my favorite areas in Summerlin called Stonebridge. So it's a newer community as well. It's about 80% built. There is still a few home sites they're selling. I know Tri-Point is still selling some, but what's cool about Stonebridge is it's definitely more modern. The aesthetic, even cleaner than what we just came from. And there's a pretty broad price range as well, probably starting right now closer to the mid fives on up to multi-million dollars. Now, I'm not going to try to bore you too much on Stonebridge. It's an amazing community, but I've already done a super amazing, I do say so myself, video on it called Vegas Streets Stonebridge. So go ahead and check that out right now. It's got good drone shots, walking shots. You get to see the actual communities. And I talk about the size of the park and a lot of the other amenities that they have there in Stonebridge. So if you kind of want to learn more about that, I'll of course be doing some more driving tours inside the community in the future. But if you just wanted to find out now, I'll go ahead and I'll post that link for you so you can check it out. Now, in Summerlin, there's a lot of homes that are more tract-style homes, so you're not going to get massive backyards. But even in some of these communities, like there's some Richmond American builds, there's some Tri-Point communities that have really large lot sizes, which is awesome. So you can get even half acres up here. Now, to my left right now, that's Durrell Academy Red Rock. That is a charter school, very desirable. A lot of people go there that I personally know. They have a couple locations throughout the valley, one on Flamingo and 215. I believe there's one further in the southwest. So there are nice options. You could be from the east side and still get your kid over here if you get him in. So it's just one of those cool things. Now to the right of me, anything past where they're going to end up building is all BLM land. So Bureau of Land Management. They always say this is no more buildings going to come past here. And then, you know, years down the road, Howard Hughes Corporation, which owns Summerlin, they end up getting more land and building a little further, which I'm totally okay with. But yeah, so you might think this is the end. I bet eventually they'll build a little bit further as well. But the nice thing is that it's not just open range. People can't just build as far as they want. It does have to be permitted and zoned through the BLM land, which is awesome. So definitely keeps a lot of nature. The majority of Nevada is actually owned by BLM land, so it's one of those big states where they've got a giant chunk. So that also keeps it pretty awesome to go visit and explore. We have, I think one of the most mountainous states in the lower 48. So cool little fun fact. Now, I hope you really enjoyed this tour. If you even made it this long. If you made it this long, I'm assuming you really liked it. But if you have any questions about driving motorcycles, I freaking love them. Living in Las Vegas, I love it. Or buying or selling real estate, I'm always here to help. I am a licensed realtor here with XPAND Realty and the CERRONE Group in Las Vegas. And I'm a local native. I was born here. And this is what I love. This is what I do on my free time. I look at houses, ride motorcycles, go adventure out here in Nevada. So I'm always here to help. So if you need anything, follow me on social media. Contact me there. I'll leave my contact info down below as well. And I'm always happy to help. Even if you just have questions on what's the best Hawaiian food restaurant or what's the best taco shop. I love that kind of stuff. So anyways, thanks for watching, guys. Let me know if you enjoyed videos like this, because I hope you do, because I really enjoy making videos like this. So talk to you soon. Peace.